The 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone the tyre of choice, and Kawasaki South Africa. Welcome to the Killarney International Raceway for round 2, race 1 of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. The weather conditions on Saturday morning were less than favourable, and a decision was taken to cancel the final qualifying session of the day, which meant there would only be 2 races on Saturday. As the wind picked up though, the track dried out, meaning it was almost time to get race 1 underway. As the riders headed out on their warm-up lap, we'll take a look at the combined qualifying results of Friday's combined qualifying sessions. It was pole position yet again for Clinton Seller, sitting a blistering 111.756 ahead of local and hometown favourite Trevor Westman in second, AJ Fenter in third, David Enchcott fourth, Han McMahon a great showing in fifth, Jason Lamb sixth, Graham from Midar seventh, Brian Bontic winning in eighth, David Furinga ninth, Piers Canute also looking for a lot at home in 10th, Lubabalo Mtsana in 11th, Renatus van der Kijk in 12th, and Adi van Dalen in 13th, ahead of Christian Carvello, Johan Leroux in 15th, Gerard Frey 16th, Byron Rothwell 17th, Apana Ganapathy in 18th, Dieter Huisman 19th, Aubrey Murray 20th, 21st Sophie September, 22nd Stephen Golgotti, Ian Harwood in 23rd, Jonathan Schwerin in 24th, and rounding out the grid in 25th, Henk Schalen. With their Bridgestone R11 tyres now nicely warmed up after that warm-up lap, it's time for the riders to line up on their grid slots as we anticipate the start of race 1. And let me tell you, the riders will be nervous. They'll be shaking in their boots, every single one of the 25 riders who line up for the start of race 1. So the riders are ready then, as are the fans, and we're waiting for the marshal to get off the grid. Lights on and lights off, and away they go, and a fantastic start from the front row, the whole front row there. Clint Seller, AJ Fenter and Trevor Westman. Jason Lamb from the second row, he did jump the start there unfortunately, so he'll be getting a penalty, but nevertheless he does lead them into turn 1, followed by Clinton Seller on his King Pass Extreme Kawasaki, AJ Fenter there in third, followed by Trevor Westman and David Enchcott going inside there of Trevor Westman. Easy boys, it's a first lap, first corner. Clint Seller wasting no time as he dives up the inside of Jason Lamb, heading into turn 2 here at Killarney, as the rest of the field file their way through. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Christian Carvello. Looked like he was pushed wide there with a bit of first lap shenanigans. So all the riders safely navigating through the first couple of corners there, no incidents to report, which is always a good thing. Ian Harwood looking to make up some positions. A long race ahead. Let's take a ride then on board with Han McMahon, the number 4 machine, for the start, and there we go. You can see it as clear as daylight. Jason Lamb jumped the start, no, not only for himself, but I think for every rider on the grid there. So an unfortunate penalty heading the way there of Jason Lamb. So let's jump on board Dieter Huisman for another view, another perspective here, mid-pack. So as you can see, everyone bumping and barging mid-pack here as they head into turn 1. That's Adi van Dalen ahead there. Christian Carvello on the outside in the black and orange leathers. Very important to get the drive out of turn 1 here to make those all-important passes going into turn 2. And there we go, Dieter Huisman wasting no time as he almost hits Adi van Dalen there, and he pushes Christian Carvello wide. That was the incident we saw then at the beginning of the race. A lot of work to do then for Jason Lamb to make up for the jump starts as the riders started lap 2. Clint Seller leading the pack. There we go. Graham from Midar as well. Piers Canute ahead of Johan Leroux. And an issue for Jason Lamb yet again. Not a good start to the race as he almost found his way into the gravel and the kitty litter there at the exit of turn 1. Maybe some brake issues there as we look at Adi van Dalen having a good race. His first time out at the Killarney International Racetrack. Brian Bontic, also good to see him back with that stylish leg dangle there as they head onto the right-hander, which leads you onto the main straight here at Killarney. Let's take a ride on board once again with Han McMahon Very important to get the drive out here. Listen to that Kawasaki scream. Han actually rides a 2011 model, which shows you that you can hop on any Kawasaki ZX10R machine in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup and be competitive. Turn 1, it's very, very hard on the brakes. Turn 1, look at Han McMahon here, hanging off the side of that beautiful Kawasaki ZX10R machine as he looks to keep the riders behind him at bay. Piers Canute looking good at home, hoping for a top 10 finish there, Piers, as he leads the pack through, which consisted of Johan Leroux and Adi van Dalen. They were all trying to chase down the number 53 machine of Lubas, leading that pack onto or out of turn 2, getting on the gas. He was looking for a top 10 result, and that was the battle for the top 10. Just ahead of them there we had David Feringa and Brian Bontequinen glued together, but halfway through the race it was David Feringa leading out Piers Canute, with Johan Leroux and Adi van Dalen giving chase. These 4 riders, you could literally throw a blanket over them. That's how close the battle was for inside that top 10, that all-important top 10 position which you want to find yourself in. Renatus van der Klerk looking good as he battled for points. Those all-important points-paying positions inside that top 15, that's where you want to be at the end of the race. The battle still raged on as the crowd looked entertained as battles raged throughout the whole field. AJ Fenter and Trevor Westman were also glued together the whole race. You couldn't separate them. They were stuck together like snot on a rug. The crowd was cheering on their hometown hero, Trevor Westman. Hopefully, he could deliver them a home podium. Out front, though, it was normal service resumed for Clint Senna on his King Pass Extreme Kawasaki. No one could hold a candle to Clint as he literally ran away with victory. The battle for second raged on between AJ Fenter and Trevor Westman. Trevor Westman getting hard on the gas here. That rear Bridgestone begging for mercy as he punished it coming out onto the main straight to set yet another lap. Behind the leading trio, though, it was still Han McMahon, a brilliant fourth, fending off a hard charging David Entercott. The battle raged on as well. Behind them, between Brian Bontequinen and David Feringa on his Wheels Online ZX10R machine as they head onto the main straight. It was still Brian ahead of David Feringa, ahead of Piers Canute having a great ride there as well. Lubas ahead of Adi van Dalen and the old veteran experienced rider, which is of course Johan Leroux. Jonathan Schwerin having a look here on the inside of Christian Carvello. Christian not allowing it though, railing it around the outside, getting on the gas harder, maintaining that position, which would have to fend off for the rest of the race. Aubrey Murray on the number 48, first for Cloud, first digital machine, having a good and solid race outside of the overall points, but still placing well within Class B. But he would be hoping for a little bit better come race 2. Nonetheless, a great showing from the number 48 machine. Behind Aubrey Murray, it was Dieter Huisman, who was having a stonking ride on board his number 70 machine. A man that hasn't actually got a lot of track experience and track knowledge, having only ridden around tracks for the last year or two. So a fantastic showing there, and no doubt he'll only get quicker and quicker the more time he spends out on the track. While Apana Ganapathy, a very experienced rider, obviously around the track, who does all sort of training and everything on his off time, also looking good on his ZX10R machine, on board his R Technologies ZX10R, having a bit of a lonely race, a lonely first race there for Apana. He would be wanting more in the second race, finishing not as high as he would have liked. So a lot of work to do then in between races for Apana, as something flies off there. Looked like he hit his knee on the curb or on the grass, and that flung his knee slider off, so that might have been causing him a bit of issues as well as the race progressed. Speaking about progression, and it was Brian Bontequinen still ahead of Piers Canute, who was having a fantastic outing at his home circuit, fighting well within the top 10 positions there, and they were just ahead of David Feringa as well. A battle which raged the whole race and would no doubt continue in race 2. At this stage of the race, it was a lonely ride for Jonathan Schwerin, who had now been gapped by Christian Carvello. Johan Leroux having a great race there, right up front where he belongs. The Class C man, a very strong showing there. Class B, Dieter Huisman, wheeling that ZX10 machine as he exits the final corner, powering down the main straight a great showing there. Not so much a great showing from Henk Scaling, who seemed to be battling the whole weekend. Maybe a lack of confidence there on his ZX10, maybe a lack of track knowledge as well. Ian Harwood, a much better showing than at Red Star. Same goes for Sifiso Temba, and Stephen Galgotzi, as always, looking as stylish, looking very, very fast indeed as well. But on the day, no one was faster than Clint Seller on his beautiful Kawasaki machine, as he was setting lap record pace after lap record pace in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup around the Killarney International Raceway, proving just why he is a 10-time and multiple SA South African Superbike champion. Lubas looking good on his number 53 machine as he fended off the hard-charging 80 van Dalen and Johan Leroux. It stayed this way pretty much throughout the whole race. A magnificent battle out there between these three riders. Johan Leroux would eventually win the Class C battle, while last year's champ Graham van Midal was leading the B class. Let's ride on board with Han McMahon as they come up to lap some riders, this time lapping Henk Scaling, who was not having a great weekend out at Killarney. He was definitely hoping more and is definitely capable of far greater things, as is Jason Lamb, who had a horrific race one with running off and then the penalty for jumping the start. Han McMahon, on the other hand, a phenomenal showing with an equally impressive performance from Byron Rothquell on his Pool Warehouse Magic Workshop machine. Turn 1 claiming yet another victim, this time Brian Bontequinen, who was forced to run off, maybe encountering some brake issues there that would drop him down to 16th place overall, but still third in class. And while this was going on, AJ Fenter was cooking up a storm, quite literally having a bra on his Vault Markets True Van ZX10R machine. AJ finally managed to get past Trevor Westman in the closing stages, a battle which raged on throughout the whole race. AJ coming out on top there. The number 57 machine of Renatus van der Kerk coming into the closing stages of the race. He was looking good in Class A, and for an overall points bank position, Byron Rothquell on what most probably is the most striking color machine out there. You definitely can't miss him, and you can pick him out in the crowd. He was starting his final lap, but it was Clinton Seller who was heading across the line to take victory in race 1 here at the Killarney International Raceway. Aubrey Marais, a great ride there. Dieter Huisman followed home by Christian Carvello, but it was a battle for second, and that was taken by AJ Fenter just ahead of Trevor Westman. That would be a battle which would commence once again in race 2. You can always rely on Henk Scaling at the end of the race to pop a wheelie. So hopefully a better showing for Henk in the second race. A great showing there from David Feringa as he waves to the crowd on the number 117 machine, placing third in Class B. But the overall winner, Clint Seller, who snatched victory ahead of AJ Fenter in second. Trevor Westman in front of his home crowd in third, ahead of David Enticott. A great showing there from David. Han McMahon, equally great showing there in fifth place. Graham van Bidar taking Class B top honours ahead of PS Canute. A great second place in Class B. David Feringa in 8th. 80 van Dalen in 9th. Lupabalo Nsana in 10th, ahead of Johan Leroux, who took top honours in C Group, ahead of Jason Lamb and Gerard Frey in 13th. Renatus van der Kerk in a great 14th there, ahead of Byron Rothquell in 15th. Brian Bontequinen in 16th. Despite that late runoff, he would still manage a 4th place in Class B. Panaganapathy in 17th. Aubrey Marais 18th. Dieter Huisman a fine 19th place there, ahead of Christian Carvello in 20th. 21st, Jonathan Schwerin 22nd. Stephen Galgotzi in 22nd, ahead of Sifiso Temba in 23rd. And Ian Harwood in 24th. Henk Scaling with a DQ there as he exited pit lane early and prematurely in what was a thrilling and exciting race 1 of the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup here at Killarney.
Dave, you joined us for a fantastic weekend here at the Killarney track. Tell us a little bit about your race weekend.
Yeah, thanks Daniela. It was a fantastic race 1. I had an absolute blast. Started 4th on the grid. Finished 4th, had a really nice dice with Slucky, eventually got past Slucky and put my head down and managed to finish 4th. Did a 14 dead lap time. I was thrown away from lap time. It's been a while since I've looked here actually, after some real bad luck after losing the engine failure at Red Star the last round. So I worked pretty hard this week to get it running.
The 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone the tyre of choice, and Kawasaki South Africa.